Hey everyone, good morning and welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'll be making a network cable with my own crimping tools and network heads. Now I haven't made a network cable in about a decade, and I used to make them all the time for work because I needed them. But since I haven't made them in about a decade, I was kind of rusty and I didn't remember how to do it. And like everyone else, I went on YouTube to look for a tutorial. I found a bunch of them and I started to copy them and do what they were doing. And I made 4 or 5 cables and all of them did not work. Now, I've noticed something. I've noticed that when they all make those cables, well, let's put it this way. Let's get into the video and I will show you exactly what they are not doing right. Okay, so step 1, you have to obviously remove the plastic. Now I've already pre-cut the plastic. Remove the foil. Remove this, remove the second plastic layer, protects it, cut all the excess out of there. Now cut this crosstalk shield. Gotta be careful not to cut the actual wiring. And that is step 1. So after we cut the plastic and we straighten them out, we got a bunch of wire and they're disorganized, and we're gonna have to arrange them in a specific arrangement, and I will put a picture of that arrangement on the video so you'll see exactly how to arrange them. Okay, so now that we have arranged the wires, we need to put a plug on there. Okay, so the one thing that nobody will tell you about crimping your own network cables is this. If you look at the plug very closely, you'll see a bunch of small teeth inside this plug. Now, these teeth are supposed to sink in to the plastic of the cable and touch the conductors. But here's what nobody tells you. Oftentimes when you buy these type of plugs are terrible. They suck. And these little teeth that are in there that are supposed to sink into the plastic and touch the conductors, they awfully don't sink into the plastic and cut it all the way to touch the conductors. So what is the solution to this problem? Let's get back to it and I'll show you. Okay, so after we have all the wires arranged neatly and they are ready to go into the plug, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut them. Now this is not cutting them to length, this is just cutting them straight. Cut them straight and you pull out just enough so they are slightly longer than the plug. Now you put them inside the plug. Of course, always make sure that they follow this arrangement. So let's see. We got orange stripe, we got orange, we got green stripe, we got blue stripe, we got green, we got brown stripe, and brown. They seem to be in the correct arrangement. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into the plug very, very carefully so they won't mess up their arrangement. Now I felt it go into the little railing in there, and now I'm pushing it out. Okay, now as you can see they're way too long and I'm gonna have to trim them out. But before I do anything else, this is what I'm about to do. I'm gonna push the plug all the way in, and when I say all the way in, I mean all the way in, as much as I can push it in. Okay, now as you can see it's all the way in, as much as it will go, and these cables are way, way too long. They have to be trimmed out. Now of course you can see the small metal teeth that are supposed to go into the plastic shielding and touch the conductor. What I do is I take kind of a mental image of the distance between that metal tooth and the end of the plastic of the plug, and the reason is because we're going to pull the plug out and score the wires manually. If you do that, I guarantee you it's going to work every single time you put a plug on a network cable. Now as you can see, I've trimmed the wires and they're not trimmed all the way. Now the reason they're not trimmed all the way is simple. The cutter I have is not gonna be able to reach all the way because this plug has a little bit of a plastic bulging out here, and that's gonna stop it from reaching all the way to the back. But that's okay because I'm about to pull the plug out and manually score the wires to make sure there's good contact. Now as I said, what you need to do is look at the location of those teeth and kind of like make a mental image in your mind of the distance. And once you have that, you can pull the plug out. Now once you pull the plug out, for the most part, these wires are going to stay in position, but you do have to be a little bit careful when you do it not to lose all their positions. See? They stayed in position. Okay, so we got all our wires trimmed and cut and arranged, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just score them and remove the plastic off of them. Now you got to be careful. Got to do it right, but you also got to be careful that when you do it, none of these lose their positions, because if they lose their positions, well, you got to start over, and that would kind of suck. Alright, that seems good. I'm gonna replace the plug on there. And there you have it. That is back on there. And all the wires maintain their positions. And this time around I've pushed it just perfectly into position, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna work fine. I did this a few times already and it worked every single time. Now I'm gonna crimp it. Place it just like that, just like that, and crimp. And that is it. This is ready to be tested. Okay, so we're done making this cable. Let's plug it in and test it out. I got this cool little tester here. I apologize that the tester is upside down, but this is a rather long cable. Let's do a slow test. And there you have it. Now the reason I wanted to make this video is because, as I said earlier, about 10 years ago I used to make these all the time. I vaguely remembered that there were some extra steps involved in just putting the head on and crimping the cable, but those were never mentioned in the videos. And these crimping tools actually have the scoring component built into them. If you look at this side, this two blades, they are meant for scoring. They are there to score your wires just for this very purpose. Unfortunately, this specific crimp tool, well, it's old, the blades are not very good at it, and I've decided to just do it manually with a regular knife that I have here. But if you have an actual crimping tool that has good blades on it, there's no reason why you should not be able to use those blades to make those scores. There are some crimping tools that are actually built in such a way that when you put the wires inside, they have blades on both ends that trim the wire and score the wire at the same time. So this end here is actually the end that scores the wire, and this end is actually the one that cuts at the length. Some of these crimping tools actually do have all the tool sets you need to create a good Cat 5 or Cat 6 cable. It's just a matter of finding the correct tools and having the correct explanation of how to pull it off. Most explanations on YouTube do not even mention that sometimes you might have to manually score the wire, because they just don't. And often the reality is that a lot of these plugs are not good plugs, and when you crimp them, they never score the wire, they never create a connection. And the reality is that people actually crimp their cables 20 to 30 times before they actually make a good, solid network cable. Well guys, that's all I got for you today. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, and share. If you have any thoughts about this video, please leave some comments in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to you. Thank you very much for watching, and have a beautiful day, guys. Thank you.